George, you did recap, didn't you? So, Aelin,
It's me.
will you take us away on a little journey?
Okay, so after making sure everybody's okay, we are presented with a trial of constitution involving swimming beneath a frozen lake to some boats. Nasha gets through very speedily by wild shaping. Bluey and Indira of the Mensej team work together to get their boats and make it back to our groups. Brian lets Nasha know his displeasure as politely as absolutely possible for not checking on the other teams. After healing up Bluey and Indira a bit, we take off in our respective boats for the next trial, a trial of wisdom, where we are presented with an ancient Lachey called Rusalka, who has gone through dying and resurrection many times over for these trials as a punishment from Sylvanas. We try to help them and are attacked, but we manage to help them die in peace and hopefully for the last time. Brian is going to have words with Sylvanas. And we row our boats back out for the next trials.
Brilliant.
Ta-da!
Lovely.
The speed!
The speed is brilliant. Lovely.
Right. Hold my tea, says Aelin, whilst I speedy recap.
Mm.
My little raccoon cup of it's not tea, it's orange juice.
Hold my orange juice.
So,
Get King of the Messiah. Aelin's King of Recaps.
king of recaps, that is true. My king.
Wow.
So, let me take a sip of my tea.
I wish I had a crowd so I could raise it up and be like, "You dropped this king."
You dropped the king.
We do have crowns somewhere.
Somewhere in this house, yeah.
We moved them because Baz. Anyway. So, you guys, still in your boat, travel through the newly formed exit from this underwater ice. When you look back over your shoulders, the exit is gone, shrunken to nothing, and the water stretches ahead further and leading you through these underwater caverns. Now, also, maybe a perception check, please.
27.
27. As you move through, you start to notice again, or you think again, those pockets of human shapes within the ice. Except you double take, and one of them seems to be moving. Walking alongside you through the ice. Do you keep looking?
I think also move to the edge of the boat to keep looking. And he'll be very obviously tracking something with his eyes.
You see Allstate move to the edge of the boat. And Loran kind of looks alongside with you. And also you see a figure that does appear to be part of the ice or embedded in it somehow, or perhaps a reflection. But they do not seem to resemble the sort of like abstract creatures or humanoids you saw before. This person is slightly more vibrant. They have a tinge of gold to them, to their eyes, which, even with no other detail, as they move out of sight, is enough to make you kind of like flinch.
Allstar will swallow and then sit back down in the boat.
At this point, Lucas has already stood up and is looking around, and he says, "Is there another task ahead, do you think?"
Not for you. I don't think so.
That was quite deep, and I don't understand. But okay.
I think he'll be okay.
He gives you a pat on the shoulder. unsure quite what to do with this information. But Loran, kind of having a bit more intuition about it, holds your hand and just says, "We'll be okay."
Just keep our eyes out, if anything.
And our wits about us. Oh no, I was about to have a moment with Cass, and then I saw things happening. Oh my god.
Cass leaps from the boat in fear. Hang on.
What is
Go away. Right, I'm gonna mute myself. Goodbye.
Okay, there are some ice gnats just descending from the ceiling, and they all swarm around Cass for some reason. And Cass is briefly incapacitated. Loran holds his tongue and does not say the deep and meaningful words he was meaning to. Anyway, as you're on the boat together, you all sort of like start to feel in your bodies slight aches and pains of exhaustion, tiredness, especially you, Bluey, having undergone that trial of constitution. And you feel the need to rest kind of coming over you.
Also gets out tea and biscuits, offers them around. Don't ask where he was keeping them. He had them this whole time.
Thank you.
Good. But they're good biscuits. Good biscuits. Pass around some good biscuits.
It's a really good biscuit.
Lucas has like a little flask and he says, I'm sorry, it's cold now. And Loran's like, don't even think about it. And just starts warming it up.
I can't find the wasp anymore, so hopefully it's gone. But if I start freaking out again, that's why.
Yeah.
Go on, Loran, say your thing.
As the need to sort of take a rest comes over you guys, what do you do?
Sit at the front of the boat.
Are we allowed to rest in these trials, or?
We can take it in turns.
It's not like it's a competition. We can't even see the other members of the other candidates.
Looking around, would we be able to see like banks on the side of where we are, or is it just water through a tunnel? Perception?
Okay.
Okay.
Are you doing anything to help?
Can I do an investigation?
I was going to ask if I could perception as well. But actually, could I assist in Cass's investigation in that case, if Cass is investigating?
Yes.
I was say, can I assist in Bluey's perception?
I think Cass is specifically looking for a rune, potentially strength, to see if you have to like withhold the need to rest.
Gotcha. So Cass, you can roll with advantage thanks to Neff's assistance. Neff, how are you assisting?
Oh.
I think I'm just helping the search.
What does that look like?
Alright, so if Cass is investigating one area, I'm gonna be like a second set of eyes, just investigating as well.
Pulls out the binoculars that she's always had, climbs up onto Cass's shoulders, and it's just like, and together you make the height of one person.
Yes.
It's very complete people.
Yeah. Slayer.
Actually, they'll be as tall as Sarah's though.
Slayer, how are you helping?
Ooh.
I think kind of like noticing like Bluey kind of like looking around, Slayer, just lends a second set of eyes. So maybe gives her like a reassuring pat on the back with a little bit of a guidance going on in there.
Sure, okay, then Bluey,
guidance.
add a d4 please to your roll.
Okay. I mean, I already
From you, Blue.
I already rolled 13 on the dice, which makes an unnatural 20.
Woo! But
Shall I add?
if you like to use the guidance now,
You'd like
you
to.
may.
I don't anticipate I'll be using it in the next minute or so. 22. There you go.
There you go.
Thank you so much.
And Cass, your investigation.
With Neff's beady eyes helping me, I got a 24.
24. Okay. So, Cass, you and Neff scour the walls here. You look even kind of like dipping like your binoculars underwater, checking the sides of the boat. There is no room to be found in this stretch of way that you can be assured. And it does help that Neff has studied Massage, the language of the Maasai, before. So even though these runes are kind of like a very esoteric language.
Neff looks at Lucas and Ulster and goes, I'm somewhat of an expert. Step aside, lads.
I know more than you.
I know more.
I don't know if she would be that brazen.
I think in that case, Cass, instead of taking this break, I think she's going to sit down and just start casting a shit ton of rituals so that they're basically all cast so that in the future, when we're in the dire stretches and it's like you don't have 10 minutes to sit down and cast. So I think I'm going to go through my rituals and pick which ones I'm casting.
Sure thing.
And then I'm just going to be casting them.
Go to the loo, but if Bluey points out a bank, Ulster will suggest it's a bad idea. But
So, Bluey, you do see a bank up ahead. You see the river kind of like begin to sort of dip downwards, and the cavern sort of ceiling get taller and less hewn. It becomes more quite natural, with stalagmites always reaching the tip of the water. And then you do see that there is a large, wide ice bank, subterranean, just to your left, about 60 feet away.
Did Brian say that he would not suggest resting there?
Seeing you look at that, also would say to you, I don't think that's a good idea.
Okay. I mean, well, I need to ask Brian.
To which Lucas says, I don't know, I mean, if there's no rune in here, I don't expect we'd get it. What do you guys think? So, yeah.
Does it look like on that bank if there have been other boats pulled out there yet?
Make an investigation check, please.
Okay.
I think we might try and like slow the boat, not stop it, but like.
You can do that.
Investigation is 17.
17. You do get the impression that there have been moorings here recently. There are some slight drag marks on the ice. You see maybe slight like litter of a camping party once there, but no longer.
It looks like we're not the first out of the trial of wisdom. If they're all synced up with each other, it looks like the others have made it to the shore already.
Lucas says, I won't undermine him. Let's wait and see what he has to say, and let's hope that he could pretty quickly.
Whilst that happens, Cass wants to cast 4 rituals. So Cass is literally just going to be like, obviously she'll only be able to cast as many as if we're getting out the boat, she won't be able to cast them. So I'll put them in order that I want them. But of the 4 that she wants to cast, she wants to cast Floating Disc, Unseen Servant, Water Walk, and was that it? Maybe it was just 3. Maybe it was 3, not 4.
Okay.
Are
any of those concentration?
Pardon?
Are any of those concentration?
No, so once they've been cast, they're just done. And Cass is only casting ones which last an hour. But Floating Disc has come in useful in the past. Unseen Servant could be helpful. And Water Walk could be, who knows if we're going to be needing water again. So.
And we have already, Cass already cast water breathing last session, which I forgot to mention in the recap.
Yes.
So you can breathe water for 24 hours.
Yeah. But what's good about Water Walk is it's like we can walk across any liquid surface such as water, acid, mud, snow, quicksand, or lava as if it were harmless solid ground. So that could have been handy for Neff.
Hey, so oops. So also what you missed was just going to turn down the creepy vibe. You notice that the bank that you see has been used previously to moor up, it appears.
Okay.
Yeah. Lucas says, if there's no rune in here, I don't see why we would be attacked. I don't want to undermine you. How do you feel?
Can I sit down again and do commune with nature to see how long this goes? So also, whilst Cass is doing that, I think Ulster will retroactively do that so we can see how long this goes for. Because he had the idea that we just keep going while some people rest and then take turns.
You want to leave people behind to rest.
Rest in the boat.
Just let me check. Okay. What do you want to know about?
Where's my phone?
I can tell you. Terrain and bodies of water, prevalent plants, powerful celestials, fae, fiends, elementals, or undead, influence from other planes of existence, building.
I need to see it. I'm going to go with terrain, bodies of water, animals, peoples, and influence from other planes.
Okay. So
You ran cool. Oh, maybe it's
So, with that in mind, as far as your kind of commune with nature goes, you can cast it. Again, you can't get a strong idea of the distance because of the way this played. You get a sort of odd kind of map in your mind where you can choose the direction, but you can't decide quite how far or how long the line should go on. This river goes on further ahead of you. It no longer goes on behind you, and you no longer have any reading before. You only know what's. You see this bank, and you see that there is through the ice more beyond. Whether that's accessible somehow going through the ice on the bank, whether that's accessible by river, say. Bodies of water, the river carries on kind of throughout as far as you can sort of see. And if it comes to a fork, then I'll give you some advice on which to use. You wanted influence from other planes of existence? Yeah. That permeates pretty strongly. It feels like there is a sort of intersection of the material plane and a foreign plane, which can't quite pinpoint.
Okay.
But there is a very, very, very strong sense that you are in a realm belonging to a powerful celestial. Very, very, very still.
And what about the people and animals?
So when it comes to people and animals, there are creatures. There is Shu, and there are creatures somewhat like her, but they are very, very few and far.
Okay.
That's not gonna tell you if there's monsters around, because those would be classified as different.
No, I'm just trying to see if there are other
people,
mainly.
and then you can't get a reading.
So the other groups.
Or they are unable.
I suppose we could rest for a bit.
I think it might be good, Lucas. I do not think this room is actively enough to get us, but I wouldn't be so sure that this place is going to be entirely on our side, considering what we did.
No, we should take one.
Okay. Louis, Sarah's, shall we more up here?
Yeah, Blue will help with Sarza direct.
Sure. If you guys roll for it. After a while, you're able to secure the boat to the shores, and you only have to walk about 3 feet through cold water before you are fully on the edge of the bank. It is a blistering moment for you, Bluey, as you remember being completely submerged, but luckily your friends protected you from the most. So, you guys are seated on this riverbank. Loran sort of has a small flame glowing, kind of like hovering in the air, warming your sort of surroundings. You see the walls start to sweat slightly, but it's not enough to do any kind of integral, like major damage. And this is your moment to take a short rest, if you wish to, if you have anything you want to replenish. And
Yeah.
if you have anything you want to do, anything you want to prepare, or research in your time, any items you want to use, this is your chance.
How long are we planning to rest here?
An hour, maybe 2.
Okay.
Or at least I'll close this vaccination. We don't really have a way to
Case, can I retcon that Cass rests an hour, regains her spells, and then casts the rituals in the latter half, so that she's got cast the rituals and then we're resting an hour and then they're gone? Can she be casting them towards the end of the rest so that they'll be functioning when we actually go on in our
That's fine.
on the journey?
That's
Amazing. Cool.
Lorraine, carpets, so you guys don't have to sit on ice.
That's what Celsius will be like,
Shoe curls up on it as if it's second nature to her.
Allstar goes to sit on Shoe.
What have you figured out, Aylin?
Well, I was thinking about ritual casting a spell that I've never cast before.
Ooh.
So, like, I guess while we're in... I guess at the beginning of the rest, Slia will ritual cast augury to just kind of see if, like, our current path is gonna yield good results, bad results, both results, or nothing.
Okay. Let me just get that up. So, Slia, you sit down and tell me what this ritual looks like, please.
So she kind of like, she pulls out like a small candle and just kind of clicks it to life. But the flame isn't like traditional looking. It's kind of weird and ethereal, and she just kind of stares into it for like 10 minutes.
Okay.
In this like trance-like state.
You guys kind of watch this ritual take place, and the room seems sort of dim to a twilight, almost. And Slia, you see the flame begin to kind of like morph and transform, and it flickers off, and those kind of like those licks are like they have a tinge of like green and pink and red and blue and purple, all the colours of the aurora as you kind of watch. And the candle begins to kind of burn down and drip down the sides. And similar to when you were in Rusalka's cove, you sort of see kind of lights dancing off the edges, but they're much more like a night sky at this point. Now, as part of this ritual, you kind of like make sense of these patterns. You kind of see images in this candle casting. And I'm going to say you do this close to the very end of your rest, because it is regarding stuff that takes place within the next 30 minutes.
Oh, it was more so like, do we have the time to take a rest, is basically the question she's asking.
You see, you see a kind of drip of that candle wax kind of roll down, and it just like licks on the back of your hand and pulls there, but it doesn't seem to hurt. It's just kind of like, and it kind of draws you out of your casting, and you look down and you kind of like flake the wax away, and beneath you see a wheel on your hand, like a welt mark, which you know to be good result.
Signs indicate that resting is a good idea.
Then we rest.
Thank you. So we might try and take a little nap. Like,
Okay, so how are you guys using this? Cass, your ritual casting your many spells. Just
Yeah, so we'll be
levitating like
at the end.
"Ah!"
Yeah, so many spells have been cast that she's just like, there's like pink spells that swirl around her. She's like, ah.
You look kind of like Doctor
But towards
Strange in
Yes.
Infinity War. Lovely. Scratchy eyes.
But towards the end of the rest, so that they last for an optimal time. By the way, with Water Walk, you all get it.
Yeah.
yeah.
And I'm gonna give it to Shu as well, because it's 10 creatures. Even though she's got wings, if anything were to happen to her wings, then I don't know. But she's got it too.
Yeah. Well, you notice that she has been struggling to fly in this cabin, considering her wingspan. And as you cast it, she just kind of nuzzles you, also signing you to stand. Sleep against. And she
Also, it's like fruit.
goes like, "Oh." And in your mind, you just hear like, "I want to try."
He also stands aside.
And Shu goes to the river's edge and just starts padding across the top of it. And then she starts like going like crazy, like you see her tail kind of like drags in the water, and she looks around and is like, and starts chasing it like a feral.
Okay.
Oh my gosh,
For
Shu with the zoomies.
Okay, to make sure that, because water walk I think only lasts an hour, so to make sure that she has the maximum use, that will be the last one I cast within the rest, so that she's definitely got it for the full hour.
Sure thing. Shu is just zooming, she's bouncing off the walls and jumping on the water. Celia.
May I ask which 6 characters would you say are the squishiest?
Loran.
Noran.
Loran.
Loran would be. Anyone else want to volunteer themselves?
I think I might be
No.
relatively squishy.
Brian might be.
Ulster's quite squishy, but not as much as.
Yeah. And then Neff.
Neff is
Neff's got
squishy.
monk in her, so I don't know if that gives you less squishiness.
It's
Cass
the
is
same
not
as
squishy,
cleric.
Stu is very squishy as well.
Okay. So Neff, Loren, Brian, Shu, Slia, and I can do one more.
Lucas?
Maybe. How's Lucas? Is Lucas
I'll
squishy?
say,
He's
yeah.
a fighter, so potentially not.
He's a fighter, but he's more of like a finesse fighter.
What
Okay.
is his hit points?
I'm not telling you his hit points.
Okay. In which case, so the plus Lucas to those like the other 5, Sleigh's gonna cast Aid at 4th level twice, give everybody 15 temp HP, and your max goes up by 15.
Ooh.
Wow.
For how long?
For 8 hours.
Wow.
Nice. That is a decent amount of hit points.
Whilst this is all happening, Ulster will be casting Natural Recovery on himself.
Yeah.
And then he will try and jump onto the ice bank, and he's going to be examining the walls, not for hallucinations, but just to make sure there's nothing in there.
You kind of approach the ice banks, and you approaching them notice that they are a lot more kind of divoted. As those cracks and like dips in the ice go much deeper than you imagined. It's like an illusion kind of the glacier. And there is a point where the sort of like floor of the ice and the wall actually like V, so you can go under the wall, but the floor keeps going.
He will squat down and start walking in.
You squat down, start frog walking under. Loran, noticing this, is like sort of joining you. Isn't on your tail, but is just like making sure you keep kind of inside.
It looks like it's just a pair of glowing cat eyes at the entrance.
Also, you jump like no.
Oh.
Also, you go deeper underneath the ice. And down here, you find there are kind of like icicles, almost like teeth meeting partway, like one dripping down from the ceiling, one rising up to the bottom of the floor. And they kind of like thicker and thicker and thicker that you can't kind of really maneuver everywhere you go. And you have to kind of pick a very specific path. Can you just make me an acrobatics check, please?
19 plus 1, dirty 20.
You do skid slightly. You quickly find your footing and you use the icicles to kind of like dip and whip your way around. And you can hear Loran a couple, maybe 10, 15 feet back, following. Your distance is widening because of the slip and the speed you're at. And
I think he'll say, Loran, just wait. I know the ground. You just wait.
Loran goes, no!
Ah,
Loran doesn't sound like he's struggling. But also you kind of keep going and you feel the sort of like floor beneath just give way.
Oh.
And there's like a 5-foot drop. And
falls on his butt.
fall on your butt.
Ow.
And you are in this kind of like final sort of like pocket of ice and glacial. And you kind of sit there and you don't hear Loran.
He twirls around. On his butt.
Anyway. Everybody else?
Ulster's gone.
Ulster is gone. He has disappeared. Are you doing anything to... Also, and Loran have kind of walked off to kind of explore the edges of the group.
Netflix. How
Are
do
you
you
guys
expect
No! Search for them, or are you continuing?
Just busy casting, so
It's fine.
How long are they gone?
5 minutes.
Slee is not gonna get up for like maybe another 10.
Sure.
So if they don't come back.
So,
that would be most unfortunate.
it would be most.
Maybe they just need a moment to themselves, you know?
Yeah.
Always.
So, with that in mind, Ulster, in this kind of underground room, you hear approaching.
The scaries.
Group.
It's real scary because I get the first-hand effects that I was playing with.
I don't have Sirenscape playing because of internet issues. What is the sound?
It's footsteps.
It's like shuffling footsteps.
Okay. Zombies?
Zombie.
Ulster will insight check
Zombies?
footsteps.
They appear to be sort of slowly walking towards you.
Do they sound like what Loran sounded like?
No, a
Oh.
lot heavier.
Ulster will brace against the far wall, waiting.
Within the ice, you see a shadow just kind of like slowly growing.
Oh, you're doing full on Jawn on me.
And it doesn't really have a corporeal form. It's just a sort of shape of darkness, like a bit of infection in flesh. And as it gets closer, you recognize that kind of gold tint, and it walks closer to you. And as it begins to kind of like cross that final distance, it's still within the ice itself seems to compress and walk forwards with it. And the space you're in becomes narrower and narrower and narrower.
Ulster's going to start going for the exit.
You kind of slip around the wall, and you get to that place where there's like 5 foot above you. So just kind of like at your eye line, there is a lip which sort of has all stairs gap in it, crawl up through. The acrobatics.
Oof, rolling very well. 19.
So you start to kind of like get your elbows up. But by the time that you do, you feel the ice almost breathing down your neck. And the footsteps come to a stop.
He'll turn around.
You've just enough room to kind of maneuver and look back over your shoulder. And you see like almost like a death mask in all kind of greys, except for the eyes. Very real. The image of girls.
Is he behind ice?
Yeah.
Also, will feel the ice in front of him to make sure it's real.
You take 5 points of psychic damage as it feels like your hand is on.
Oh, cool. Also, will yell out a little bit and hold his hand because that hasn't happened before.
At that point, the hallucination says, even here, I'm so much stronger.
Also, flick off the damage. That was nothing. What do you want?
7. I'm here because you called me.
I never asked for you.
Then why?
If I tell you to leave, would you?
If you believe it. Maybe. If you really want it. I don't think you'll ever be rid of me.
You're in the ground. You're nothing.
And you're in the ice. Thank you.
I'd rather be here than mulch into Titania's foot.
Leah.
Oh, more so just that, like, there's pieces that are cutting out. I don't know if you can move a little bit closer to the mic or, like, speak up a little bit.
I will turn up the sensitivity.
Thank you. Because I couldn't hear what, like, he said.
What did he say at one point? Which part? What was the last thing you heard?
Like, it's just little pieces that keep cutting out.
Okay.
He was basically saying, I'm here because you want me to be here, and then also said, well, you're in the ground, and he said, you're in the ice, same difference.
Yeah.
Vaguely.
Yeah, basically, he's like, I only linger because, like, you kind of called me here.
And why can you hurt me now?
It's not me hurting you. Since when did ice burn, Ulster?
Can also look at his hand.
It seems to be risen and blistering.
This is your fault.
No. It's yours, Ulster. And you deserve it.
I don't deserve this.
At which point the ice begins to kind of constrict. And facing it now, you no longer have the room to turn around. And you feel that kind of like searing heat getting closer and closer, and it almost presses against your cheek. And you can feel the sort of skin, the flesh bubbling there. And as that happens, there is just like a tug on your shoulders, and you are pulled up from your hiding place where you fell. And Loran is looking over you, and he just says, "What's wrong? What happened?"
Also, for a moment, just doesn't speak. He's looking around at the ice, and then he'll look down at his hand again.
Nothing. You looked like you were in pain.
Also, we'll look back into the cavern, and is the ice as it was?
Yeah.
He got close to Lauren. He also just keeps looking at his hand, and then he just taps it. I guess he did nothing, but I can feel it here.
It's this place instead. And that will be the last time you see him.
And you? Do you see anything?
No, but I feel so much towards it.
I need to tell Lucas. If this can actually hurt people, or if it can just hurt me, then it's no longer my own problem.
Yeah. Are you alright?
Did it also take any more damage than the 5?
No, I'll say that you felt the kind of like heat as kind of like more of a flavour rather than actual.
I think I'm fine, but if something happens to me, then
Bullshit, nothing's gonna happen to you. Not while I can help it.
if something happened to me, then I wouldn't be able to protect everyone else as best I can. That includes you.
We are in the business of sacrificing ourselves for one another, so let's try and stay alive as best we can.
I'm not trying to die alone.
No, neither am
Then I'll tell Lucas, I'll tell the others, if I see anything, we need to treat it as an actual threat.
I. Please.
I can't just ignore it anymore.
I wouldn't put it past this place to use your weaknesses against you.
I suppose Corul is my biggest weakness then.
Well, that and I think, is it cruel that's causing these hallucinations or something else?
It started when I lost you. I think you know that.
I don't want to be your weakness also.
It was when I lost you, not when I had you, that this weakness started. I think you're more like my strength. Let's get out of here, okay? Your nose is turning purple.
Yes, it is. It is quite cold in here, isn't it?
Also rubs his nose.
Also, I still believe what I said earlier about Cass. I know I apologise to her, but it didn't change how I feel. Especially after she attacked Rosalka in that.
I am prepared for something to happen with Cass, but I don't blame Cass necessarily.
No, I don't blame her. But this Cass is something else.
Then I think we need to protect Cass from herself if anything happens. And you do the same for me if I was acting out of, you know.
Understand this is a different second. This is a different circumstance entirely.
Then what do you have planned?
Back at the camp, Cass, Slia, Bluey, and Neff. Lucas is kind of just reclining and checking his weapons, checking his armor, making sure everything is in order. And Sarah's is kind of huddled and occasionally casting glances back towards where Ulster and the rest. There is splashing in the background where she was still kind of like losing her shit over the fact that she can
I have a fun idea.
walk on water. What?
If Ulster had psychic damage, would she have flinched when he took the psychic damage?
Potentially.
It's a fun idea.
But you would see a quiver of kind of like pain from she.
Would we have heard Brian shout?
Yeah.
No, he didn't. He wouldn't. It wouldn't have carried that far. And if any sound you kind of hear, it does just sound kind of like murmuring, but you also just have like the general kind of like creaking ambience of the ice as well, which is just kind of surrounding you.
And I guess any movement we make here sort of goes, so.
Yeah.
You hear a motorcycle.
Sarah looks over at you, Cass, and then just says, "I'm sorry about the rat." I don't know why he's treating you this way.
Oh, have we reached?
No, you guys are just. They haven't come back yet. You guys are just.
Have we? Okay, they haven't come. But what I mean is, has Cass is it now sort of towards the end of the rest of Cass?
Yeah.
Finished casting, or is she still
Yeah,
sort of
yeah.
strange?
You're just coming out of it. You're
Okay,
just.
cool. Okay. Cass sort of floats down to the boat and sort of gives Sarah like a small smile and is like, Loran and Brian and well, all of us, we've been through a lot. I think I understand why Loran has concerns, but we just gotta keep going, don't we? And when this is all over, we can take a minute and hopefully return to normal, if we can ever.
I just don't know where this came from. For him, I mean, I know he died, but why you? Yes.
Well, Loran and I have always had a love-hate relationship, haven't we? It's always been sort of tied up with sort of, not in the past, more fun rather than actual sort of distrust. But I wouldn't be surprised if having died and then having clear issues with paranoia, and I don't know if what he's seeing, but I know that Loran and Brian have seen things that aren't there, or at least we don't think are there. And well, Cass gestures to her eyes like I am sort of, which makes sense to me that it would be me that he focuses on rather than anyone else with this paranoia. It doesn't surprise me at all.
Yeah, I suppose that's right. I must have missed that somehow in his condition after he came back. It's worrying. Also too.
Can I insight check him?
Yeah.
With my very poor insight, but let's
That's fine.
see what I can do. Oh, 8.
8. He seems. It's hard to say. He seems concerned. curious about it. And like, this is the first opportunity you guys have had to actually sit down and talk for a while, so making the most of it. Bluey.
I can't recall if Bluey's done a detect good and evil since Cass has gained a new set of eyes.
It's been a couple of days, so if you had, I don't think you've done it today necessarily because you guys woke up and came straight to the trial.
I think Bluey might be just sort of like still a little bit sleepy, but turning to Cass, she says, do you want me to kind of find out what Salios thinks of I don't know. I'd like suggesting casting detect good and evil on Cass, or just like in vicinity of Cass.
I think Cass is sort of like, yeah, it's like you can if you want, but I think we already know that this isn't. She like touches them. They're a version of me that is different and is not necessarily good. So you can cast it if you wish, but I think we know what the answer will be. I've taken my potion and I don't feel any different.
At this point, you kind of hear footsteps as Ulster and Loran kind of call back in their separate isolation. And when you say that, Cass, Loran kind of stops and is just looking at you.
Can I insight check both of them? Because they've been, like, how long have they been gone for?
About 15 minutes. Maybe 10.
Do they look like they've gone for, like, Celia suggests, for a little bit of alone time and they look happy?
No, not that kind of alone time. Just like a
not
talk.
that type of alone time, but like, as in, like, have they gone and had, like, just like the two of them and they've come back feeling like, I've been with my husband and I feel slightly more rejuvenated? Or do they come back like, we have just gone through a trial by ourselves and we're like almost died? That type of vibe, I think, is what Cass is getting at.
They just also, how would you say Ulster looks?
Ulster is holding one of his hands, a bit funny, but I think not being obvious about it.
Loran just looks kind of like he's quite a cold look as you say that. Cass, he catches the end of your conversation, but he doesn't say anything. He just says, "Sure."
I need to go through the again.
Yeah, Cass might insight as well.
I think I'll try an insight too. Yeah.
Okay.
15.
Oh, no, that fell off.
23.
23.
5.
5. Okay, Bluey, he's hard to read. Cass, there's a kind of disbelief to his expression, as if like kind of feeling like you're kind of avoiding the issue, whether that's avoiding the detect good and evil, talking about the potion, you can't really tell. And then Aelin, I'm going to just message you this.
PM chats.
On Facebook.
Okay.
Now,
Bluey's gonna sit on that information.
are you checking anything? Are you responding to this in any way? Neff?
I don't think she would be. But
What's Neff doing while this conversation happens?
I think she's just on standby. But if she can, is there any sort of like I mean, is there any like obvious way that she can help? I guess she could roll an insight check.
I guess it's if Neff has anything that she wants to do, wants to contribute.
I mean, she's there. She can help out with anybody doing their sort of stuff. But if Neff is just on her own, then she'd just be sort of chilling and maybe potentially practicing some monk moves. But other than that, nothing too.
You're all together. You're all seated sort of together around this fire that Laurent created for you.
Yeah.
Either magic carpets or on the ice. I think some people are both.
Fire bending. She does have the fire jab that she could practice around the fire.
You want to practice the fire jab? You kind of put your friction gloves on and you like go.
Yeah, like if the fire looks like it's dying at all, she'd maybe kind of.
Oh wow.
And Sleer and Laurent kind of like, there's a moment where your eyes kind of meet, just like for a very brief moment, and then Laurent looks over to Neff and just shakes his head and is like, again, people stealing the brand that I so carefully curated. And he goes over to kind of like toy with you a bit, like extinguishing your flame, like turning your flame different colours, making it really big, making it really small. Kind of.
Whoa, that was a really big one.
Laurent's like, just you wait.
I think Cass might take Louis to like the side. Not necessarily like. Oh, that is a really bad echo. I don't know if anyone else can hear it or if it's just me hearing it.
Yeah.
Maybe if my tone is quiet. Could you turn me down on one of your computers at my volume for?
Yeah, we've only got my sound up, so I'm just going to make sure it's quiet. How's that?
Yeah.
Oh no. I think the mobile data dropped out.
Hello. That's better.
Oh.
There we go. Okay, so Cass, are you there?
Oh no.
No!
Oopsie whoopsie. Did Cass say she was taking Louis aside?
Yes.
Okay.
Why don't we take... Well, it's a bit early for a break. But seeing as... Well, let's take a very, very quick break. If you guys want to get a tea refill, want to get some biscuits, and then we'll come back, hopefully, when George has a bit more Wi-Fi to work with. So back in like 5.
That's good too.
Intrusion.
Just said voice message tomorrow. Do you want to hear it?
Okay. Stressed. So please just say yes. Accept. Say yes. Accept. Acceptance. Yeah, that's fine. We're just taking a break.
I've just finished speaking to one of the people I'm supposed to call, so I'm just going to run and make a tea. But I'll be back.
That's fine.
I don't know if there is. Yes, okay. There is a house there. A little string of lights.
Anna, I can't hear what you're saying.
There's a house. Well, apartment balcony with a nice string of lights. Just going off.
I don't know why the mic is not picking you up very well.
I'm just catching Lily up on what's happening.
Made tea.
What was that about the flashing lights, though?
Balcony. There in my camera. It's got them.
Huh.
It is like humid in here. It's too warm. I am wearing long pants, but
So now I can hear you. You're a lot less muffled.
sorry, like the camera's shit, the microphone's shit. I don't want to, use this because I don't know. I mean, it's also variable, but I guess usually, I find it annoying if I hear, other people's things like rustling of, like hitting the shirt, hitting hair.
The kind of like misophonia kind of things.
It's not like a terrible body feeling when the sound happens. It's more like it's distracting. I don't know if that is misophonia. I don't know. I have some sounds that are like that.
Yeah.
Chalkboard mainly stuff to do with chalkboards. Just
Ugh. Yeah, I feel that.
I think that's a very common one. But yeah. I've made a very milky tea. I didn't brew. I didn't leave it to sit in because I just wanted to get back to the action.
That's fair.
I wonder if Cass wants to sorry, so many planes. So many bloody planes have come across. Jesus, that's loud. Wow. You having fun out there playing? Jeez. I wonder if Cass wants to ask Bluey to do the detect good and evil thing in front of Loran. It'd be like, hey, Loran, read her mind or something. I wish Bluey put it more as like, do you want me to... Hello.
Hello.
I'm wondering if...
Just catching Lily up on everything that happened.
Oh, okay.
And some secrets. Secrets. Mm-hmm.
Secrets?
As they say, secrets are no fun unless they're shared with me.
I'm gonna get more tea, but hey, let's see how this goes.
Now,
Tea?
yes, please.
Tea!
Should I give you my...
Yeah.
Thank you. Oh. Right. Emma and I are in a fight at the moment. Do you want to hear about it?
Perhaps.
You know our friend Mariah, Anna?
Yeah.
She's been a really shitty friend recently, and I called her out on it.
Oh, no.
So we moved to Cambridge, right? And tell me if you think I'm being the asshole, because I don't think I am. But I need an objective opinion. So we both moved to Cambridge, and Mariah and Emma and I saw each other once. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
It's coming through.
But we can also
double.
hear you. Yeah, we can hear you double.
Okay. Can you hear me better now?
Yeah.
Yes.
It's
Okay.
less trippy.
So we asked Mariah to hang out, and she did so, but she was really tired the entire time. We didn't really get to hang out with her. And then she went back to her apartment. We didn't see her for a month, even though we kept asking her to, like, come hang out. We want to welcome you to Cambridge. We want to do stuff together. Because she was, like, one of my best friends in Sydney, and she was really close with Emma in Tokyo. We were like, oh, you can come over. You can spend time with us. Like, you're welcome in our house, essentially. She kept saying, no, I'm too busy. I've got college activities. I've got uni stuff to do. I've got other more important things to do. And we were like, okay, well, that's fair. Like, you started college. That's fine. But then after a month, we said, okay, Mariah, we really want to see you. Could you please make time for us? She said no. And I said, we're a bit hurt that you're not making time for us. So then she said, fine, I guess I'll come with you to dinner, but I'm not going to eat anything. I'll just sit there while you guys eat. So she came to dinner with us, had an entree, didn't really seem like she wanted to be there the entire time. Then she left. And then after about another month, it was my birthday coming up. And I was like, oh, I invited you to my birthday dinner. Are you coming? And she was like, yeah, I guess I can come. She turned up. She didn't really talk that much at the dinner. And then she didn't get me a card or anything or a gift. She kind of just paid for some food. And I was like, okay, well, this is a bit weird. And then another week or 2 weeks go by. And I said, Mariah, I know you're really busy at the moment, but can you potentially cat sit our cat for a day because we're going into London and we're worried about him. You can use our house, you can use our Wi-Fi, because her excuse is always she's got too much study to do, which is bullshit because I'm doing the same level of degree and I can still manage my social calendar. And I have anxiety. I get stressed about this stuff as well. And she said, no, I'm too busy. I can't do that. And I was like, okay, so you can't do a favor for us. You won't hang out with us. We're a little bit offended. Like, it seems like you don't want to have any contact with us. You don't really want to continue this friendship. She opened my message, didn't reply. I sent her a voice note saying, Emma and I are pretty hurt. We know you're busy at the moment, but could we please talk about this after you finished your assignment in December? Scene zoned it, no reply. I sent her a message just then saying, we're both really upset. You don't need to solve this with us right now, but can you just say yes or no that you want to solve this issue? And then I sent her another voice note saying, I understand you're stressed by us asking you to hang out, but we are hurt by your behaviour, and we thought that we would be close friends in Cambridge. We welcomed you into our home. We essentially just want to make this better. She hasn't seen that yet, but do you think I'm the asshole in this situation, or do you think it's a bit shifty
Definitely
from
not.
her? Like,
There's definitely
It's-
something off.
yeah.
Yeah. That is very odd. I mean, I sort of, from seeing, I of course haven't been to Cambridge, but recently being a uni student, I would much rather not go to uni social events if there are actual existing friendship, social stuff happening. Like I would, I don't know. I mean, I don't know if it's because you're living there and but
Her excuse is that she's got a PhD application to do, but I accepted that. I was like, okay, well, if you're that stressed and you don't want to hang out, would you please babysit our cat? It's a 30-minute walk or like a 6-minute Uber over here. We're happy to let you use our house for the whole day, our Wi-Fi, my office, which is much more comfortable than the student accommodation she's in. And she still said, she sent me a whole paragraph of, I'll read out the, hold on. She said,
I think it was just like a bit rude because we weren't even asking to hang out, which is what she's had a big issue with. We were asking a favour, which didn't involve her having to socialise with us. Okay,
yeah, she said, I'm very busy. For my PhD, I haven't found a good idea yet, blah, blah, blah. I need to do all my summaries and all of my coursework. I have a casual job offer coming up as well, so I'm afraid I can't come over. Hope you're doing well. And I was like, so you won't hang out with us and you won't even do a simple favour for us, even when it gives you time and a space to work.
Yeah.
I just think that's kind of rude, to be honest. Yeah, this is Mariah. I've already ranted to Thomas a little bit. But yeah, like, am I the asshole in this situation? I want to post this and be like,
You're not the arsehole, I do, but obviously I would.
Like you are giving sort of space and understanding, considering what she's doing right now, but you've given that so many times, and you haven't really got
Any sort of response.
any real response. It feels like. Yeah.
I would
In all
say
my
that
messages, like
from
you know
like
when someone
her-
sends you a message and they sound upset, like you're entitled to take time over it, but you'd think you'd respond to it within like a day, right?
Yeah.
And I wasn't rude. I just said, can you let Emma and I know when you actually want to talk to us again? I'm going to leave it up to you and your priorities. I wasn't asking you to hang out. I was just offering you to use our house to study and watch Baz. I wish you all the best with your coursework. She didn't reply to that.
I would say though that if she seems to be off, and I don't really know why, but if she is feeling off about you guys for whatever reason, and I'm not saying that I don't know what that is, but if that's the case, then that's probably why she's, even though the offer to watch Baz and use the house is generally not that isn't hang out, but if she's feeling off about you guys for whatever reason, then that's why she'll be saying no to that. I don't think it's that. I think the actual looking after of Baz in the house isn't necessary. Like, I feel like if for whatever reason, if I was sort of unhappy with someone for whatever reason, and I wasn't happy to look like even go out, like hang out with them, like I probably wouldn't offer to go to the house.
But that's really weird.
Pet.
It's weird because
we haven't had any. I understand that.
But
If
no, but like that's what I'm saying. I still think it's weird, the whole thing. But I'm saying, like, if she's being weird in general, that's probably why she won't look after the cat. It's because she's being off
it's because she's
for
got
some other reason.
Tunnel vision.
There's something wrong. So I think don't look at it like, but it was like a nice offer to come to the house. If she's being weird about you guys in some weird way, and I don't know why, that's why she's probably not house sitting for your cat. And I
feel the same
maybe
way.
don't. But I don't know why she'd be weird, and I don't think that your messages are off, and I think you're well within your rights as she is your friend to be like, well, can either let us know that you want to sort this or whatever, but give me some idea. And I think you're completely within your like rights to say that, and I don't think that those are off at all. But there's clearly something going on, but I don't quite know what.
Well, I don't.
It must be weird because you can't. I'm assuming you can't pinpoint anything that happens between you.
We've done nothing but ask her over once to our house, met her once for dinner, and then my birthday, and she's been here 2.5 months? Yeah. Which is just weird because in Australia she was very attached. She was very attached. I saw her all the time. I supported her through applying to Cambridge and all of her family issues with that. And now she's here, like she's just being a bad friend. And I'm saying, look, Emma and I are unhappy. We want to talk to you. We understand you're also stressed, and we're happy to talk to you after your assessment and PhD stuff is done. But can you please show us that you actually want to talk to us? That's literally all we're asking. And I just think
that it is weird.
It's just being a shitty friend, I think.
Yeah.
That's fine. We're happy to move on with other friends, but we want obviously to try and save this friendship because she's been a close friend of ours for a long time. So and she's not doing anything else because Mariah posts all the time on Instagram and Facebook like what she's doing. And she's not been posting anything. So I think she's just sitting in her apartment, not going outside or seeing anyone, which is sad.
She's clearly in a bad place, but it is weird.
Anyway.
Yeah. I think she's got tunnel vision with her degree, which is really kind of getting in the way of her actually listening to what we're saying. Because if she was listening to us, I think what we're saying isn't unreasonable. But because she's so hyper-focused, everything we say is unreasonable. So I'm not
see your friends more than once a month when you live very close to them. Anyway.
Like when I was in a really good situation, but when I got back from Japan and I was in like self-isolation, I saw Tash like 3 times in like a month. Because that's just like, even though she lives in London, like she made the effort to come. Because I'm here and Mariah and I haven't seen each other like full time for ages and didn't see people yet. I'm not going to think about it. So you want to play D&D?
No, but it is even more offensive towards you. She should have seen you in so long. It's just like
And not even just like even if you can't make time for like a physical appearance, like saying like, "Hey, let's have a call or something," you know, let's catch up.
Yeah, I had to vent. I've been feeling angry about it, and it upsets me to see Emma upset as well. So I'm like, be a better friend, Mariah. Anyway, let's go back to dragons and conflict in the game, which is much more fun because it's not real.
Things we can solve.
Things we can, maybe.
Is it?
Mm.
What are you doing?
I'm just messaging. Secrets.
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 Secret?
I'm messaging Aelin. I've messaged Anna. I've messaged Slia.
We've had a secret.
We've had
Hang on.
everybody gets.
Wait, you messaged Slia in game? Oh my god!
Oh,
Transcended.
I've been summoning her.
Demons.
Demons. Where is he? Wait, blinking to me.
I think I caught some of his like meowing over like the audio. It's so precious.
Wait.
Summoning demons.
Summoning demons. Summoning demons. It's okay. He's okay. Can I
Violence.
have a cuddle, please?
Here you go.
Cuddle.
My friend's doing Movember. Oh, hello.
Yes, your friends are what, sorry?
Doing Movember. Or no shave November.
Aww.
Which has
God,
traditionally been for
moustaches.
Traditionally been for prostate and testicular cancer, but I think is also funding
November.
charity kind of thing for like mental health as well, men's mental health.
Yay.
So I will have that link open for later to donate to.
Yeah.
And with it is like a mugshot, and it's someone commented like a true criminal, just like he has one of the kindest faces, and it's just
All right.
oh, it's also sensitive eyes. This maybe the computer will explode again if I do that. So maybe I'll stop doing that. Sorry.
Okay. So are we recording still? So Cass, you wanted to take Bluey aside.
Yeah.
Take her
Yeah.
out.
Kill her. The violence.
Down to the neck. Yeah. I think Cass will she'll take Bluey to the side and be like, thank you for offering to cast that, but I already know what you'll feel. I can feel her fighting to take control. That echo is so bad.
Because that's why we turned it down before.
But then you won't be able to
Okay, sorry, that was just very bad. Yeah, I can feel her fighting, but she touches her eyes, not her eyes, her second eyes. But I won't. She's weak. I won't let her take control. You know me. I'm too strong for that.
I know. I mean, I didn't really make it clear, but I was thinking maybe if that could be a way to kind of help Loran see it that way as well.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
I mean, I'm maybe a bit worried that I don't want to say something so kind of defeatist and terrible, but maybe he could be shown many things that seem to prove that you're fighting and but maybe you won't believe them.
I know what you mean. I also know that you'll definitely pick up something from your spell, and I don't know if that will make him feel better or worse about the situation. Because she's there, so it's there. But she's not as strong as me.
I think Blue might sort of like do a very soft like tap on the arm.
I think Cass will like do like a slightly stronger tap back.
And Blue and she's like, no, hang on, I won't.
As like all of a sudden these two start like being like, wait.
we go into the river and we're just above the water, just like
yeah, like water walking, like.
Okay. So as you guys are having this conversation, sort of separate from one another,
hopefully the ram doesn't overhear it.
everyone else
Blue would have been
thinking that it's time that they move on from this moment of the trial. You hear actually something you probably weren't quite expecting. You hear the washing and like kind of like rise and fall of the tides in a different rhythm than you are used to. And you kind of look back over the river and you just see another boat coming. Perhaps considering who you see on it, the third and final boat, as Nasha and her team just sail past you, drenched from head to toe in blood. Just like, and Nasha is just kind of at the front, like.
Also, it's just like, good.
One of the Bluey are like mid punch on the water and like look at them like.
Just like stepping off the water, just like making way.
Lucas sort of calls out and says, we're actually about to leave if you want to take a moment. And Nasha is just completely silent. And you hear one of her team, the half kind of like ice dryad, Dracea. She just calls out and she just says, Nasha's not the brightest. And Nasha kind of like growls and then shakes her head and is like, yeah, I'll be the first to admit it.
Failed the wisdom check.
Well. And she just kind of like drifts. And
she can still be queen of the lesbians.
That is true. She can and still will be queen of lesbians. So, Ulster, and actually anybody else who's kind of like watching this scene, make me a perception check, please. So, anybody who wishes to.
22.
22.
25.
25.
19.
19.
22.
13. 22. Okay.
13.
Neff, you are just taken aback by how drenched these women are in blood and gore. It looks, rather than being like many battle wounds, because they do not really seem injured, it seems like one huge gush of blood.
Oh my
from
god.
one very huge source, rather than like they all just kind of like were fighting. And everyone else, you kind of seeing past that, realize that Nasha is holding something that you haven't seen her holding before. She's holding a slightly curved, long, exquisitely made blade. And the blood is like oil just dripping off it. It just won't stick, leaving the kind of metal, a beautiful sheen. And you notice that the fish scale wrap that Nasha was holding previously is kind of just rolled up and placed away at her back.
She got a big sword.
She got a big sword as her.
It's looking at that sword like, very nice.
And from this distance, even, you can kind of see there is an inscription carved on it. But if anyone wants to investigate the sword, I'll let you help read.
Could I do it?
Yeah.
Investigation.
Mm-hmm.
I'd love to try. It's a sword.
18.
Natural one.
Natural one, you've no idea.
Oh.
Also, that's too distracted.
16.
16.
Maybe.
How hard did you study massage when you were studying it back then?
No, she just studied massage. She studied that hard, but
Louis, you can tell that Nasha really needs a good work
massage
done on her shoulders and on her neck. Her posture's not amazing right now. Cass, how's her comprehend languages? Would it be gone by now?
She recast it in the break.
Okay. So you would
Cast
see
that and a couple of others.
that this inscription, it has kind of a broken translation, even when you kind of see it with your comprehend languages, because of just how ancient the language is. But it translates to the last word is carver, carve. But the first word is something in between frost, snow, ice, and marble, stone, crystal. Because
Snow carved crystal thing. Sword.
yeah, yes, exactly. But because back in sort of I think maybe a history check before I explain this to you.
Is it stone? Can I get stone cunning?
No, the sword is not made of stone. It is.
Damn it.
It is a blade that you can't quite examine yet.
Ooh, doesn't matter. Dirty 20.
That's trendy. Okay, so kind of using your knowledge of places you've been, a Shissel, and Kalkan. Kalkan, back in ancient times, had 50 different words for sand, and 3 words for stone. So in the same way, it's there is a vast difference in your understanding of what would encompass this word, which makes you think, okay, well, it could be frost, could be ice, could be glass, could be stone. Those might all be the same thing. Purely because ancient civilizations might not have had make a distinction between those materials.
Okay. Cool. And does it see? I know that Lucas gave the goblet to what is Rusalka?
He does still have it. He does still have it.
But he still has it, so he got it back.
Yeah.
Okay, so what did our things say on our carved? What did they say?
The only thing that you checked was whether it was transliterated to what Rusalka was saying, whether what she was saying matched the inscription. But if you want to actually read the inscription, it says sort of, it's receptacle, holy receptacle.
Right.
I
I think because you've all got the telepathic link with Cass still, so Cass will sort of say to them what the inscription on her sword says. It'd be it says this, but it could be this, or this, or this.
Yeah.
Or
And
this.
when I say holy
Carver.
receptacle, it's much more, Cass, you get the impression, and I think also get this too in Lucas, that it's a very poetic way of saying. It's not cup. It's nice cup. Holy,
the best cup you've ever seen.
Holy receptacle.
it's very poetic.
God juice.
God juice.
Weird question.
Yeah.
Would my linguist feat
Yeah.
give me any sort of insight into the ancient linguistics that we're getting here?
Yes. So I think you'd get exact. I think just without making the check, you had everything that Cass would have said. That they, in ancient times, a lot of communities, just from lack of understanding of how materials are made, would see, for example, crystal and glass looking the same and would give them probably the same one. When in fact that's not necessarily the truth. Versus if something's culturally really important to a society or community, they'll give it many more, or they might give it more and more names. So, for example, in the Maasai, where there is snow and ice in abundance, it might have lots of different names for lots of different, like, for the same basic thing, but like it's different uses in the sort of ancient society. And these runes are a lot like Japanese kind of kanji in that they on their own mean separate things. Like you've got sword in there, you've got like sword and cut in there for carver, but like you know that because it's a ceremonial item, it's going to be a more poetic word than just sword. And there are like little runes kind of that you, from looking at them and thinking about it and looking at the cup, you can tell there are runes which sort of like indicate the level of speech, which kind of like says that it's much more like heightened than just if these runes were just by themselves.
So we've looked at the game cup. How about the game on stone? Like crystal piece?
Yeah. It does seem to have, like I said, I think when we first got it, it does seem to have indications of intentional carving on it, but it seems to be a piece rather than a whole thing. So you can't quite.
And there's no no linguistic hints on this either.
I think you'd probably be able to tell that these kind of intentional carvings are from the same.
But specifically, like there's no like runic language on the stone.
I mean, no, but you've seen a lot of this kind of rune. I'll let you make an investigation check to see if there's anything you can decipher, like or intuit from this.
And also, just like does it seem like this sword could have cut this piece of stone?
Interesting.
Oh.
19 on investigation.
Okay.
What's this?
If you want to share that piece of that idea, then I'll.
Y'all are getting the stream of consciousness Slia thoughts right now via the telepathy.
So, you guys kind of hear this kind of like thought process happening in Talia's mind, and when you kind of like have that thought cross your mind of like, could the stone have been cut by this sword? Could the sword cut the stone? You all would sort of have that, hear that as well. And with your 19, you would, I'm going to say, you'd probably at least be able to recognize one consistent rune, which is the sort of elevated speech rune, and that would be kind of consistent with the shape of the mark you see on this stone. So yes, they seem to be, it seems like whatever this was cut from does in fact have a kind of like similar language and would have a larger inscription if you could read it.
Okay. Thank you.
You guys all know what Slia's theory is.
Did you get that photo?
Sorry for vanishing.
No.
Okay. If you want to message it to me, what do you want to do? So is there no reaction from you guys to what Slia was thinking?
I think Bluey might have mimed in her head like, oh, sword swinging action, and then looked at like whoever's bag or something might have the stone and gone, But then like she's realizing she's doing that sort of out loud. It's like, Just not look in front of Nasha's team.
No.
So Narsha's team, with all the lesbians kind of hanging out at the back, look over and they eventually do kind of decide to moor up as you guys are leaving. And Narsha kind of like stumbles off and just sits on the ice. And then you just see her kind of just like put her feet in the water and the blood starts siphoning from her and it kind of like magically kind of like flowing into the water. And she just looks over at you also and just says, "How was it on your end?"
It was fine. Left blood.
Yeah.
Maybe you should have a shot.
Yeah. She just slips into the river like.
Yeah.
Alright. You guys will get back onto your boats just as you hit that kind of like
Boat.
2 hour, 10 minutes or so mark. Boat. Kath,
I'm eating our Halloween candy if anyone's concerned about that rattling noise.
we got one trick-or-treater! I'll say it for you.
Aww.
Yeah. Well, one little group of trick-or-treaters.
I will
And then
say
all the candy for you.
when Ulster came out of having his chats with the ram, he still looks a bit concerned about the ram, and he's just patting his shoulder every now and then, like, there.
Yeah.
And he looks at Cass and just gives her like a comforting smile, I think. He's like,
Cass returns it.
mm-hmm.
So, you guys get back into the boat and carry on down the river.
Did we want to discuss the next few trials?
I mean, I feel a bit more rested, so if,
That could be a good idea.
Well,
if a trial needed more than one person,
I was thinking,
strong
we
person.
probably shouldn't send, if possible, we shouldn't send one person in at a time. So I was thinking of volunteering myself and maybe Loran for the dexterity trial. Even though I'm not super dexy, I can probably help him. And I think Bluey, you
Be
did your
quite
best.
dex.
You did your best in the con trial, and I don't want you to have to step up in the strength trial. So I was going to ask Cass and Saraza maybe if you were happy to do that.
Yeah,
Sarah
Cass is happy
is-
to do that.
Saraza just says, "This is all assuming that we are allowed to choose the participants of each trial, or how many."
Well, this is in the best possible scenario. But in that case, I'm going to enchant myself to have better dexterity, and I'm going to work on something for the both of you to help boost your strength as much as possible.
Loran just kind of like lounges back and is like, "Goodness me, everybody's just coming for my brand."
I'm fairly adept, Loran. You can have some trust.
Well,
He meant about-
you can also
You can tell he meant about the enchanting potion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
you can become a creature that could have very high dexterity as well.
That's definitely my backup. It seems that was Nasha's first option, but I'll see what I can do. But I can start. I think for the two of you, I can't split my enchantment. So I'm going to make 2 potions over the course of this trip. And I'm going to enchant myself. The moment we kind of know what's coming up, I will either cast my enchantment or give you guys the potions, okay? Right. Ulster will go to the back and he'll start unpacking his little alchemy kit.
I think Cass will look to Neff.
Neff will look right
And
back.
she looks away from Neff. What do you need?
I'm cherries and cherry.
Oh, I'll wrap another one there.
I think basically, because am I right in thinking, would Neff be quite dexterous as well?
I mean, you could, just from looking at her and from knowing Neff, I think you'd know that she's reasonably dexterous. Especially with her monk sort of training.
That's
as
what
of
I was
recently.
thinking. Like with monks, they're sort of.
She didn't used to be, but she's
Rely
more
on
dexterous than
dex.
she has ever been in her life.
You get the vibe Ulster is only going in to protect Loram. If you suggest that Neff
Right.
comes, he'll be okay with that.
Yeah, I don't think she's necessarily
Brian.
saying Brian shouldn't go and Neff should go in Brian's place, but I think she's suggesting that Neff might also be a good choice for a dexterity challenge. Cass is very much like, not me though. Don't you be putting me in that dex challenge.
Ulster
Ryan.
looks up from his potion making and goes, "Cool.
I would like to join your team.
Okay."
Can I do like a flip or something to prove
Why
that?
don't you and Ram discuss strategy?
Watch me do this flip. Okay, can I do like a athletics check or something? Acrobatics, actually, maybe.
Loran kind of leans towards you, like, show me what you have. No.
Should I make my potion check?
Maybe not in the boat.
Do it in the boat.
She flip, but she has water walk,
Ooh,
so she
wait, I
can flip
rerolled that
out of
once.
the boat onto the water and still land on the water.
Oh yeah.
16 acrobatics. I think her flip makes it.
What do you do? What's your skill? What's your little trick?
She's doing a backflip. A somersault.
Sarazar's heart leaps out of his chest as you backflip off this boat. Benny has a trauma.
Another boat.
She's just doing a backflip on the boat.
Yeah, Slea's arm is just like outstretched, like at Neff, and then just slowly pulls it back, like everything.
When Neff lands on her feet on the water, she sways slightly, but has it in control.
I've become more dexterous.
I'm impressed. I will say. Alright then, Neff. Why don't we have a go at it? Dexterity trial.
Okay. And she'll sit back down.
So, as you guys are having
Dexterously.
time passing on, what was your potion check?
I will roll it now. I will check. What do I add to that?
You add your proficiency plus your arcana.
It's going to be very high. Proficiency 17 plus. Now is a fat 27.
27?
Wow.
You can achieve your target goal.
I can achieve my target goal.
Yeah. So you get a gold star.
Yay! Ulster claps his hands in the back of the boat.
Loran, I'm so proud of you.
Thank you. Come a long way.
Yes, you have.
He gives me.
As you guys are putting the potions away, finishing your backflips, the boat suddenly stopped. Enough that you kind of lurched. And then, with the strength of somebody pulling you, you feel yourselves dragged off the sides. And, excuse me one moment.
Also, didn't tell you about Karul. Oopsie.
That's
Huh?
all of you. All of you feel from your shoulders, your ankles, your throats, yourself being pulled away from one another.
Can I try and grab around?
You reach out and your fingers just
No.
brush as you guys are thrown and pulled almost through the ice edges of this cavern in like an explosive moment, so quick none of you can react to it out of turn. And you see each other just kind of like arms outstretched, expressions of surprise, all just in different directions, get pulled further and further and further away. And you're traveling through ice, through layers of frost. And there are only brief moments where you get kind of like feeling of air on your face, on your skin, as there is just this pressing kind of like motion that you've only ever really felt when you were in those cloud forms and you were being forced through tiny little gaps in rock. Are you going to put them away?
Yes. Who's being naughty?
Even shoe.
Naughty.
Naughty.
Even shoe in this moment is disappeared as your boat is left empty and you are propelled into the ice.
It's not too much.
No. Would you like some more milk?
I've had like 4 packed first ones.
And all of a sudden, you feel your backs slam against cold frost. And you find yourselves, each of you, in your own separate rooms.
Oh.
Now, I will tell you this.
Did you just split the party?
I didn't. I will tell you this much. Each of you is in a very similar room. It is a room with a rectangular kind of floor, about 5 foot wide and 10, 15 foot long. No more than that.
So far.
The walls slope up to a triangular point at the top. And either side is dense blue. You can't see the river you came from. You can't see any of your friends. You are just in this facet of ice somewhere.
You've given us all our own escape friends.
Maybe.
Oh, that's a bit of a nightmare.
You little cheeky monster.
And you all are not alone.
Oh.
So, I would like each of you to roll initiative, please.
Does this mean I have to roll also as madness check?
Don't forget that we can talk telepathically, guys.
Oh.
Can we not?
Uh-oh.
Cool.
Oh, damn, that initiative roll was piss poor.
Here in your own little dimensions.
12.
Can you really? So,
I've got to roll as madness.
Cass, as you kind of try and sort of reach out to your friends through that telepathic link, you just feel there's no one at the end.
Okay, so these are waves.
Cass swears.
Yeah, right.
loudly.
I really need to get a place for it. So, 25 to 20, please. 20 to 15.
Oh no, we did
I'm
bad.
seeing if any of
guys.
these. Sorry.
15 to 10.
12.
Sorry, did you get blueies?
Yes.
Cool.
Anyone else?
I got a
15 to
5.
10? Right,
I
10 to
got
5.
a 4.
5.
And Sophia?
9.
Okay. No. Oh, sorry. Slayer's first, sorry.
17. I'm going to tell you what it is in the message.
And Cass was a 4.
You're too busy trying to chat to a friend.
That's fine.
Hello there. Anybody there?
It was very almost. It was very almost something much worse. I'll tell you what it almost was.
Mhm. Okay.
I'm going to put these away.
So, let me just write something down very quickly. Okay. It's okay, I'm going to just type.
You don't want me to say?
No.
But can I give you a kiss?
Yes.
each of you in your own rooms. The way this trial is going to work is that you're each going to get a chance to interact with the things in your room. And as that kind of interaction comes to its natural end, we'll move on to the next person. And you have one task to complete in this room. And it's going to become very apparent very quickly what that is. However, we start here with Bluey. Bluey, you look around this room, and the first thing you see is on a wall there is an inscription, which at first is written in that language which you can't understand, those runes. And then as you kind of read along to it, it transforms and transmutes into a different language somewhat. A language which you can understand, which tells you that the rune on this wall is the charisma rune.
Interesting.
No.
Bluey's face.
I'm sorry.
Am I charismatic? Do people tell me that I'm charismatic? Those sort of thoughts start. Oh.
And Bluey, you kind of read this, and you're like looking in one direction, and then you register that in front of you is another person. And it takes you a moment before you really let yourself believe that. Because the person in front of you is someone who you haven't seen in a very long time. And it is someone who you know to be dead. Cool. An older man who looks upon you with eyes that are tired and now you know carry the weight of so many secrets. Dadalan never looked this sad when he was alive. Or at least not how you remember him. And as you kind of look upon him, you notice behind there is a small slither of a coin in this otherwise smooth room, which you recognize to be a keyhole. And Dadalan looks up at you, and he just says, I am so sorry, Bluey. I really am. And just looks down, hanging his head shamefully. And Bluey, it clicks in your mind, and it clicks in all of your minds as you look upon the people in your rooms, respectively, which I will tell you yet, that your objective is to use your charisma to retrieve the key from the person.
Wow.
I'm going to give you a moment to interact with Dadalan, Louis.
Okay.
I'm so sorry to you. What? Would you prefer a moment and we can come back to you if you just think you wouldn't have anything to say immediately?
I think in normal circumstances, well, not normal because he's dead, and you can't just converse normally with a dead person.
That's a quote.
You just converse normally with a dead person.
So you know that.
She has been thinking about just the ramifications. Like, did he actually know? Like, I'm not sure if she was sure that if he grew up in that town and therefore went through that ritual. And so, like, I think there was a hope in her mind that he didn't, and he didn't know what was happening. but he did know it was. If I could have a moment, I did write something down for this.
Sure.
Yeah.
That is fine.
Wait, hang on. Sorry, were you offering to?
I'm giving you a chance to sort of have a moment, and then you can come back to it.
Okay, yeah.
Ulster.
Oh, great. Fine, I have massive experience dealing with hallucinations. I'm going to be amazing.
Ulster. There's almost a sense of deja vu as you see Karul seated before you. And he kind of smirks.
Great. Ulster's
To do.
Ulster's looking for Loran at this point. He's panicked.
You do feel a presence.
He turns around.
You see yourself kind of reflected in the eye, just stalking at the edges, but not quite.
Also,
Emma, that cut out a little bit. What
You
does
see yourself.
Brian turn around
Ulster
and do?
turns around, feeling that presence watching him, and behind the ice, like with Karul, you see your reflection, but it's a darker, much darker reflection of yourself than you were expecting to see.
also will keep an eye on that, but he will turn and face Karul. And I think maybe leave it to someone else.
Sleer. Sinestre looks the same as ever.
Oh no.
Oh.
Greetings.
And to you. Hadn't thought we'd have a private conversation.
You're gonna have to speak up. Sorry, it's cutting out.
Sinestre says, I hadn't thought we'd get another chance to speak like this. How lucky.
Is that what we're doing? Speaking.
If you need to. You have to speak to me. Sleer.
No, I'm fine speaking to you. Just curious about your motivations.
You're good at this.
You do have to tell us who Sarah.
Neff,
Yes.
can I take a double take? Because you're surprised at first who you see.
Can you say that again?
You take a double take, sorry, when you see who is sort of in your room with you. Because as far as you're aware, Ender never did anything to hurt you.
Oh
Oh
Oh.
no.
Can I resign from the
And then you
campaign?
realise that Ender isn't Ender.
This is Starter. This is somebody different entirely.
I'm actually reskinned. My name's Elijah Rashun, but you know that.
AKA starter.
Stuff.
He's the sourdough starter.
Mm-hmm. Do you have anything you want to say to him?
Ender?
Oh no, not anymore. No.
No.
He served his fairly well. I didn't want to do it, you know, but I had to.
Wait, want to do what?
Kill my son.
Oh.
Oh. Okay. Why are you in my room?
Oh no!
Why are you in my room?
Well,
This is awkward. I was resting.
well, Neff, here's the thing.
Uh-huh.
What I did to Ender is currently kind of what I'm doing to Osha. And really, there's no one to blame for that except me. No one to take responsibility for it except for me.
Oh, huh. Okay.
So should I tell you about what's happening to her? About
Well,
how
okay,
her
we're
soul-
over. I guess we're already in this situation, so that would probably be yes. Tell me.
Well, when the soul is stretched thin enough, its material just splits apart.
What do you mean it's
into-
material?
Everything is something. The soul, the body, the mind, they all work together. You cannot really separate them without stretching them into something unrecognizable. And that is an incredibly painful process.
Are you saying that you're
I know.
painfully stretching Osha?
Of course. Osha was a test subject. I've had many in my time.
A test for what?
For this. To see how far I can push. Knowledge. It has to be known. It has to be sought out. It is the master of all of us. And we have a duty to learn as much as we can. Osha was collateral damage. I'm sure you understand.
What do you mean collateral damage? You mean you didn't even consciously choose to put her through all this? She just happened to be...
Oh, I think you'll remember that she went to Eldraleth for you, actually.
I remember that part.
Do you? Seems like you've forgotten her. It's been a long time.
There's a lot of
A
stuff
really
we have
long
to
time,
do.
actually. You're kind of terrible, you know.
This is
Like,
bigger than
bad.
just Osha or myself, you know.
I don't see it that way. Nothing is bigger than knowledge. It's our divine purpose.
Knowledge here in my garage. Read a book a day.
Lamborghini.
I can't unhear that. Listen here, you motherfucker. Get back into your Lamborghini and drive out of here.
I took my Lamborghini apart because I wanted to know more about what it was made of.
Well, okay. Why have you come seeking me in that case, at this point? If you've just come here to rub your knowledge in my face. Just want to lambaste me for not taking my own selfish desires to the forefront of, I guess, our group's actions?
Well, you did push her away.
What do you mean?
Push her to it. Loran's here. So Sarazar. And he's here for you. So why did Osha get thrown as? Was your connection just not deep enough? Maybe that's the case. Maybe that's why she was so easy to stretch and distort. Because she didn't really have anything grounding her here in the first place. Even her own family, they threw her aside. All their kids. And it was just the one that they really cared about, that they kept trying to replace. The one that died because of, again, your family. So, what I am really here to be is the font of all knowledge. I know everything about your situation. And in one way or another, I'm making it much, much worse for you. I don't really care.
You don't seem all that knowledgeable, you just seem nosy and kind of dumb.
I love
Well,
that.
that's kind of mean.
Your understanding of our relationships and our situation is only surface deep.
Why?
What do you mean, why? I don't understand
Tell
you,
me.
or your inner machinations, or what's brought you here.
as you're kind of getting on this kind of like stretch of your conversation, will you make me a charisma saving throw?
Okay. Charisma saving throw. Definitely no. It's decent. That is a 23.
Boom! Take that,
23.
Elijah.
Elijah kind of like flinches, and there's a moment where one of his cheeks kind of just like shines as if it's made of like some other material than flesh, but he shakes it off.
Can I like medicine check him?
Sure.
Okay. Okay. Could I do it with advantage because we're close proximity and I'm looking specifically for flesh-related stuff?
Mm-hmm. So, you notice that as you get closer, Elijah doesn't move. He cannot attack you, it seems.
Okay.
He can only speak to you. As you get closer, this is not a hallucination. He is there in the flesh. But, in the flesh. In that moment, he transformed, or you could say returned to being a different material.
Okay.
Perhaps ice.
What are you?
I'm the font of all knowledge. All your problems.
I know, I mean literally.
Yeah.
What are you made of?
Oh. He frowns. Flesh, blood, bone.
Is that it?
I like that. We'll stop there. Remember where you left off for me because we'll go through.
I'll put a bookmark in it.
Thank you. I'll just write that down. For myself. Cass. You have the same experience as everyone else, except when you turn around, sitting in that chair is a dark-skinned person with amber eyes and a shaved head. There is no wrap around her face. She has one set of eyes, and she is looking up at you with absolute hatred as you see yourself. And she just looks at you and shakes her head and just said, "You bitch." You absolute bitch. And she looks like if she could, she would get off the chair, but she's stuck there.
Nice to see you too.
I'm not saying shit to you.
I wonder who this is.
You have anything you want to say?
I think Cass is just going to sit down and she's got like a very big smile on her face and she's like, "So how are you feeling?" "I'm feeling quite happy in this situation."
You can feel me. I know you can. Fighting in the back of your head. I'm there. Cass. I'm
Oh,
still
Cass.
with you.
Not for long.
I am strong Cass of the fucking zero. I've killed so many. I have done so much. You are just a half-formed thought of me.
Is that what you think, that you're strong? How was Neff when you watched her die? Weren't strong enough to save her?
You wouldn't have saved her.
Would I not? How would you know?
Make a charisma saving throw.
That is 27.
You see there's a flash. As skin kind of just like blanches and becomes like ice. And it lingers slightly but turns back to flesh. I didn't kill Neff. And then there's like a moment of like doubt on her face. No, I didn't kill
You
her.
didn't save her. You as good as killed her. You couldn't save Loran. You almost lost Brian. You think you're strong, but you've been through a lot. I'm here to make you stronger.
My friends make me stronger.
Do they?
That connection. Yeah,
Mm.
they wouldn't let. They wouldn't speak down to. I'm stronger for needing them. What say you to that? Do
I
you want
say
me-
that
Oh, go for it.
you're not wrong. Friendships can make you stronger, but they haven't made you stronger.
Cass, you can think on what you need to do next for yours. Louis,
I want,
his head in shame.
Do we get to see what Sarah's
I
doing?
want you all to imagine that Bluey's making a different face to the one I'll probably be making throughout this because, God. mm. First thing, she doesn't sort of move. She says, "You knew."
I knew, Louis. But I knew you. And I knew so many more like you. If I had rejected what I'd seen, what would have happened? How long until you or one of your siblings was the next? There were bodies of children down there, Louis. As young as you, I had to come back. Believe me, I didn't come back because I agreed with what was happening, but there was no one else there for you. Not anymore.
I think Dadaland was quite old, already. Like I think in his 60s when Bluey came into the scene, and by that I mean hatched from an egg.
Okay. I think with Dragonborn aging, it would have still worked out.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Because he's considering he's human, but still, yeah.
Oh no,
You
he's
would have seen-
Dragonborn. He's Dragonborn.
He's Dragonborn?
He's a Dragonborn. Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. I always imagined him as a human. Okay.
That's all right.
Again, with Dragonborn aging, it would have worked out.
Okay.
Yeah.
She sort of stutters on the word like siblings, like. Hello.
Dadman smiles and just says, "You weren't the first that I took in. There were others like you. There were so many left without parents, siblings to look after them, and that's." You might not have seen them in the same way, but the children you grew up around, Most were in my care.
That's taking care of a bunch of us. But was there really nothing you could do for the children trapped, sacrificed for Carmen Tran?
Louis, make me a Christmas saving throw.
Oh, where is my... It's a +0. Okay.
You got this.
That's a 19!
Good job, Louis.
Again, that flash as skin turns to ice. I asked myself that question. Up until the day I died, I'm not strong. I'm not as strong as you. But you're here now. And I can protect you. Nothing can hurt us in here. Nothing can get to us. We're safe. And we're together again.
I miss you a lot. I don't feel safe in here. You're always Dad, but I have a large family now.
Would you make
Even
another saving throw for me just because?
Oh my god.
The first one.
That's 17. Holy shit.
You see his fingers begin to turn crystal, see through, and then it doesn't change back. Keep going.
Even if we were safe in here, I've got to get out. I've got to stop what's happening.
Louis, it could kill you. And I don't want you to.
Look.
Would you like a moment?
Yeah, actually, yeah.
Okay.
Hola.
Hola. Hola, niño.
Also,
That's me.
I think you know what the task is here. Norstead. Why would I give anything to you?
I've been here before. And I think Orsted's reflecting back on when he first stabbed Cruel with his dagger. And he pulls out his dagger and points to him.
You'll cut it out of me then.
Would you give it to me otherwise?
It'd be more fun if I gave it to you. You'd never stop thinking about it. It would twist your mind.
And how could I convince you to give me anything?
I'm not actually. I do. You know that.
And that, he points his dagger at the wall behind him.
I see it. I know you're mine. Alright then. I guess I'd give it to you if there was something trade.
I have nothing left to trade for you.
Let that come here. He nods towards the hallucination. Let it in. Or cut it out of me. There's only those options, I guess. And I think one of those might hurt your chance.
I need to get out of here for Loran. I don't want to think about what he's saying. And he'll turn to face the hallucination.
It's right in front of him.
He'll let it in.
Steps through the eye. And walks right past you, kind of grazing your hand as it passes. Do you have anything to say?
Where does it go?
It walks towards.
What are you doing?
You don't even trust yourself in another dimension, in another world.
I've seen you.
You know what I'm capable of.
That's not the way you should walk.
Also, can you make me a charisma saving throw?
It's pretty good, actually.
Nice.
Surprising. Also, it's not the most charismatic. That is a 18.
Not the way I should go. You sure? Are you really sure?
He'll never love you. You're there to be used. Like Giral, like Valis, like Rhea, like everyone else. And I think you know that. You're fuel to burn. Otherwise, why would you be so sad?
Recently, I've been feeling much better.
Why? Right.
I don't know. I must have fled from my mind. And the hallucination kind of walks and joins, not standing beside him, but standing in front of Gruel. Sleer.
Me.
You're curious of my motivation. I think you know why I'm here. I really do. Sleer soon, I am here to help you free. Let you out. Do you
Really?
Do you want to leave?
I have places to be.
What keeps you, Sleer? What keeps you talking to me? And it's not just the key. I think it's something else.
Where is the key located on Sinestre?
You cannot see.
Where's the key? And she's actively circling her now.
Like a shock.
Yeah, a little bit.
No.
Sinestre just leans forward and you can see her hair just kind of is pulling forwards around her shoulders and just the back of her neck is exposed, but she says, You could just cut off my head. But there's more I can tell you.
What do you want to tell me?
I can tell you more about your destiny. More about where you're meant to be.
Are we talking about the tree or Feyways?
Which would you like to start? And I need you to make me a Christmas saving throw.
All right. That is an 18.
18. Which would you like to start? And you see that flash again of ice, and at the back of her neck, you see something for a moment within her.
I'm your guest. Why don't you tell me?
I can't tell you about the truth because you didn't stick around long enough to learn. But I
Does
can
that
tell
upset you?
could have been something more with that. Much more than just. What is one life? One mortal life versus an eternity.
Exactly.
You'd rather just have one.
No. But that's what's at stake elsewhere.
Charisma saving throw.
All right. 23.
23.
You guys are going to destroy Ulster in this competition.
So he has a +9 to charisma saving throws. So
One.
You
I'm
flinch-
sorry.
You see her flinch, and this time her shoulders kind of set in place as if stiff and stuck there. You will die. You know it. You
We
are
will die.
fated. Not forever. The tree could have changed things for you. Before you sail to your doom, blame your mother. Took you before your time. Could have changed everything. The whole trajectory of your life. Would you like a moment?
I think she just kind of like looks down. A sacrifice either way.
Charisma saving throw, please.
I had 22.
Sleia, as you say that, a sacrifice either way. Sinestra's fingers clench and turn to ice, and her arms and her forearms, all the way up to her shoulders, her whole torso is
Sleia
returned.
actually just kind of reaches out and just places a gentle hand on her shoulder. But this way is my choice.
Choice was predetermined for you. The only
Yes.
choice you made, Sleia, was to decide that we were evil And you're always right.
No. Not evil. Just different.
There is nothing left but the neck, the head, the hair. And then that too freezes over. And you are left with a spike of ice and a key just slightly jutting out of the back of it. Sinestra is gone.
Good job.
Would Slia get the idea that like that because Sinestra is here, she is dead?
No.
Okay.
You get the impression that this was all from your consciousness. Considering that she couldn't tell you about the tree.
Yeah. Slia takes the key and like tries to go for the door or whatever it would unlock.
Neff. Is that it? I believe we're the final one.
Second.
Is that it?
Yeah. When she was asking, what are you made of?
Elijah looks at you. I am made of magic. Neff.
Magic this. And I want a fire jab.
Yeah! Okay. Okay. Make me a roll for me, please.
Okay. Let's see, roll to hit.
Mm-hmm.
Ookily dookily. Oh, that could have been really big, but it's still big. That is a 23 to hit.
Okay. Water just pours down in an instant, half melting this imitation of Elijah.
Water, funny situation we found ourselves in.
Oh my. Now remind me, you passed
Mhm.
2 charisma saving throws, I believe.
Yes.
So, you see Elijah's head is just kind of like lolled onto the floor with the still flesh, it seems, but the base is ice. And you just see kind of stuck in the throat is a key.
Oh.
What do you do?
I say, ice to have met you, and I'll grab the key.
Okay.
She's on her own. This is the time to make the puns before she unleashes on everybody else.
You didn't make puns around everyone else. They like it.
Well, these ones are bad ones. These are the lowest puns. But she'll take the key.
So, you take the key, and the door is there, waiting to be opened. Cats. Let me just finish this piece of
What's up?
Neff is free.
Neff is free.
How was this one?
He's okay.
Did I get him? Yes, please. Okay. The fact that Shu sees courage and courage sees Shu.
Also, I sent you bets for who Laura and Sarah this season. If I win, you have to make me hot chocolate.
Okay.
If you get only one of them right, do you get half a hot chocolate?
You do a scoop.
He's just happy to be here.
Yeah. He's having a good time. Yeah. I can hear his purring over here. Wait, hold him close to the mouth.
It's too low frequency, I think.
Aww. But anyway, Cass.
Yeah.
Other Cass looks back at you and just says, "You want. You need some help. You need a drink."
Cass will get out a bottle and pour 2 shots and offer one to the other Cass. And she'll just say, Cass, you've been through so much. I know you have. I feel it. We feel it together. We've both lost friends and loved ones, and we can't lose anymore. And we won't. I won't let us. I'm with you. I've always been with you. We signed that contract together, and it made us so much stronger. But we could be stronger. If we stood together, united, we would be unstoppable.
Make a charisma save.
Help me, Cass. Together we could put Brian on the throne. We could make the world better. We'd never have to lose anyone ever again. You know what our mum whispered just before she died? She told us to always be strong. So be strong with me, Cass. Help me. Ooh, that is a 25.
A second flash of ice as she is almost completely consumed. And you just hear her say, "She told us to be strong. I don't think she meant this."
Well, too late for you. Cass plucks the key and is like, bye, bitch.
The key isn't exposed yet. To get to it, you'd have to hit her. Carve it out.
I think Cass, can I sort of gauge whether other Cass is gonna relinquish it like this in any way? Has what I've said got through to her at all, or is she starting to melt?
You can get from the impression of what she looks like that it is getting through.
I think then instead of she kind of has her fist clenched, but instead of hitting her, she puts her hand on her shoulder, and she's just like, "Just let go, Cass. You know it's for the best."
Is that going to represent your final charisma roll?
Yeah.
Please.
Natural 20, so 31.
Oh, Jesus. She looks up at you, and with her last words, she's yelling as if someone might be able to hear. "Cassis!" And then explosion across the room, leaving the key.
Cass's what? Oh, too late, and picks the key up.
Okay. Louis, Dardalan just says, "I don't want you to die."
Don't get me wrong, I don't want me to die either.
I love Louis!
No, you're right. That's about it.
You're right, actually.
Hi, Kiso.
I've been thinking a lot recently of what I might say to you if, well, for example, I know a cleric who's very knowledgeable. I know a cleric who, despite giving a lot of life, is also devoted to death. And I know a wizard who knows how to operate a big crystal that can enhance magic powers. And I thought maybe, concoct a big plan to use the three together. and somehow speak to you and ask, did you know? If you did, how could you live with yourself? But if I was in your position, I think I would have tried my best not to make any choice if it seemed impossible to change. But I know that I've been given a choice to change it, whereas you haven't. And Blue will walk towards him very slowly and hug him.
Remember your Christmas saving throw, please.
Please, but oh, come on. Okay. All right. I can re-roll saving throws. So I rolled an 8. Yes, I would like to re-roll it, and I think I have to take the new roll. So let's hope it's not worse. Come on. Come on. That's 17. Thank Christ.
Okay.
Oh.
Bluey, as you hug him, you feel the ice shift and change and grows cold. And there's just a moment where you have that last hug before you feel your hand just wrap around the ring of a key.
She said very quietly. She said very quietly, thank you.
We'll stare.
You guys did so well. I don't even have an icicle on him.
Your hallucination is kind of stopped, almost static, as if waiting for you.
Okay.
And Cruel is watching.
Allstar is looking around the cavern, and I think he just sees his reflection. Then he'll turn back to Cruel. We talk a lot about me. Whilst we're in here, why don't we talk about you?
Why? What do you want to know?
Because you always talk about how it's my fault, how I'm so messed up. Whatever happened to you?
Whatever happened to me? Could you say?
You murdered your entire family.
I did.
You didn't feel anything?
Charisma saving.
13. Also has a really bad charisma.
How would you know what I felt? The best you can do is guess.
Because you keep trying to have people around you. Gerald, you had enough love in you to have a child with him. And eventually one with me. You still tried to kill me. How would it have felt when you killed Gerald? When you killed me? You wouldn't have felt anything then.
Make a charisma save.
19.
Gerald meant.
I don't think he did.
What you saw was just another future of many.
I think you told yourself he meant nothing. There was a reason you kept him by your side for so many years. You have feelings, even if they are twisted and dark and, well, particular to you. But I think you love in your own way. I think you loved your family. I think you loved me and Gerald. though not as we needed. You still lost everything. And that was your fault.
It was not my fault, actually. This thing, I keep getting blamed for things that aren't my fault. I can't control it if people reject me. That's not my fault.
Are we on Twitch?
Are we on Twitch?
No, we're not.
That was the insult thing Karul's ever said.
And also, after that 19, you see that his torso is slowly creeping up with ice. And your hallucination, it's sort of twitching at the shoulders. And just turns to you and says, I am in love.
Really?
Just not with him. You make me a Christmas saving.
Ooh, 17. I have to rely only on the dice. I don't get any additions.
The hallucination reaches its hand up, and you see as it twists and transforms itself into a creature like a bear, and it poises itself and seems to be waiting.
So you didn't feel sad when I killed you?
I hated you then. Like always.
I don't think you hate me fully. I don't think you hate Gerald. I don't think you hated your family. I think you hate your choices and what you became.
Last one. You have luck, remember?
I'll use a luck. No.
No?
No. 12.
Well. The creature turns to you and just says, say it again in a language he can understand. And bares its teeth.
Also, we'll go over to the bear hallucination and place his hand over its teeth. And then turn to Karul once more.
Mm-hmm.
You can choose to give it to me this time. I won't force you. I won't hurt you. Because I never wanted to hurt you. And I never would have.
One more.
Bye. This is not Ulster's trial.
If you want it, you'll have to rip me.
I don't want to. I've done that over and over again in dreams, in real life. Why can't you for once just stop hurting me and stop hurting yourself?
Roll again.
Natural one.
He stands up. I won't give it to you. And the bear growls again and turns its teeth towards you and just says, say it in a language he can understand. Roll again.
20. Please.
He reaches out a hand for you, and the hallucination growls and jumps between. And then, Ulster, in a blink of an eye, the hallucination that you have starts to drift and split apart and return to the ice, leaving just you and Carol, who is frozen in that position, it seems. And you just hear him saying, "Don't want to." Even as he's kind of like reaching towards his own throat. "I don't." And his body betrays his mind as he rips his neck open and ice just explodes everywhere. And Ulster, I need you to take
I think this makes sense though.
30 psychic damage. 30.
30.
30.
I think Ulster screams, clutches his head, but then he'll get back up and kind of stagger towards Carol. "Give me the key. Let me go."
The last movement you get from this is the juddering hand just turning to ice with the key in its.
He'll snatch it away and just hold it. And I'll take that nice damage. He doesn't look very good.
Doesn't look very good. And all of you turn towards your doors. Louis, Ulster, Celia, Neff, Cass, Sarza, Loran, and Luke.
But what did they say?
And you put the keys in, and you turn, and the rooms around you begin to fracture and shatter. And you are left to walk through a freestanding archway. Do you walk through?
After a moment.
Yeah.
Yep.
You move through, and as each of you walk, you see each other in your periphery. And you are standing on a wide, flat plain of ice. No longer below ground, or at least not fully. Over your heads, you can see almost mountains reaching up on either side of you. They seem to be mostly ice, but you can see that there's different densities, different thickness that makes you think that there's crystal here as well. And you see one another, also looking visibly distressed.
He's looking for Loran immediately.
Loran is there. Loran holds you. And Loran also looks like he's taken damage.
That's Sarza and Lucas looking.
Sarza looks a little bit less pain. Lucas looks rattled. Okay. Before we get into you guys reuniting, I'll describe your surroundings. Let me just scroll. What you see, other than those mountains kind of creeping up above you, is a thick wall of cloud, not quite the same as the one you walked through to get into the trial. This one is drifting, it doesn't hold its shape, it's just almost like storm clouds. They part, but they are dense and dark, and you cannot see all the way through them. What you can see is 3 platforms at what appears to be the edge of this walkway. So imagine there's like 30 foot of ice, 3 platforms, mountains above you, and then just no visibility beyond that. And that's what you have.
We need to also goes for his equipment. Ask Sarah, please, and he's going to give them both the potions of strength made. And he'll keep an eye out. If he senses that it's a dexterity one, he'll cast a spell on himself immediately.
Before you can do that, you do see that both Neff and Loran are sheathed in a slightly kind of like glowing, like a mist.
Can we Arcana check that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Attaching to them. I just need to waste a spell.
19.
19.
16.
16.
16 on the die, and so 28. I love those trans dice. They are a little bit difficult to read.
They're so cute though.
They're my first set, and I just love them.
Birthday gift and birthday. With Arcana checking that, you can tell that from your conversation before, it seems that the die has been cast.
Also kicks the ground and he looks unhappy. And he will take the potions back. I'll hold on to them until we're sure.
Slayer, Neff, would
Yeah.
you?
I think Cass would say to that, does it not seem wise that we hold on to them in case it happens quickly?
I don't want to risk. I don't have time to make them again. And he'll put them in his special alchemy kit, which is actually wood. So if anything happens, it won't break.
Yeah. So Loran calls out to you, Neff and Sarasa. No, Neff and Slayer. We're hurt. Nodding to himself and Ulster. Could you?
She'll come over.
Where, does it look like that kind of like temp HP has been depleted for both of them?
Oh, I
Yes.
didn't add that. So I'll add 15.
Add 15 back.
Also, just a reminder that those with the aid spell, your max HP has increased for the duration as well.
So you'll be.
He had basically an extra 30.
Yeah.
Okay. It looks like Ulster is missing those those HP that you gave
Okay.
before, and it looks like Loran is missing about the same.
Okay.
I'm going to cast a quick Cure Wounds at 5th level on Brian to start with. Which is going to be a lot of HP back. Oh my goodness. Oh my good. Okay, that's 7, 10, 14,
Oh, dude.
20, 30 HP back.
Wait, who did Neff get?
Nice.
On Brian. It's Leah here as well.
Neff got Brian? Okay.
Yeah.
Loran is going to take, hang on. 27 back.
Perfect. He's up full.
Nice.
Loran just says,
Good heals.
it doesn't look like this is time sensitive. As he kind of like walks kind of the perimeter of this ledge. Do we want to talk about that?
So what did you... It doesn't look like... And then you cut out.
It doesn't look like this is time sensitive, he says as he kind of walks
Right.
center of this kind of space. He kind of goes to approach the 3 platforms, but doesn't step on them.
I can help one of you.
Lion just says, go from there.
Ulster's thinking of the effects, and one of the effects is that if you fall, you don't take damage. So he just shakes his head. He's going to grab Loran and cast on him.
I can save myself over there.
No. You're not.
I can save myself.
You can't fall.
I won't.
I can do something else for Neff. He's going to cast Long Strider on Neff. So Neff, your speed is increased. Your speed's increased by 10 feet.
Oh my god, I can move 45 feet.
Yeah.
Pretty good.
So Loran's got what's something called... Loran has Cat's Grace, advantage on dexterity checks, doesn't take damage from falling 20 feet or less, and isn't incapacitated from falling.
As he lands on his feet.
Yeah.
There was no way he wasn't going to cast that on Loran. He's like, if you fall, you won't hurt yourself.
Also, like Cat.
An hour.
Yeah.
He can cast it again.
Also, just a
No,
heads
just
up, I might have to head off in like 10 minutes.
Okay, we'll wrap up before this trial starts. Loran just says, let's just stop. Because I'm not going forwards without a drink. And he looks at Cass. You're not you. I know you're not.
How many times do we have to go through this, Loran?
I am not putting myself at risk without you in your right mind. Cat.
Sorry, I'm not putting myself at risk without
you being in your right mind. Cass.
I am in my right mind.
Can I insight check that?
Can I
Yes.
also?
If you wish to.
Are you insight checking
You
Cat?
can roll anything
Yeah.
you would like to roll,
20.
persuasion or otherwise.
25.
Or just,
I'll roll persuasion, but I would say
And
Cass
24.
very much believes she's in her right mind.
Cass, I'm just going to message you something.
Yeah, persuasion for Loran is...
Hold on.
Okay. That is a 29.
Loran just says, alright, you can sound as convincing as you like. But let's prove it. Bluey, cast evil and good.
Okay, Bluey looks at Cass for like a nod or something.
Cass is just going to sort of shrug.
Okay, she brings out her sword, does a little.
We shouldn't fight right before a trial. We need to... Loran,
Ulster.
As Bluey's casting, she'll look at Loran and say, whatever I'm able to detect, can you... I don't know how to phrase it. Okay.
You hear a message in your mind, Bluey.
Mhm.
No harm will come to you.
We'll come to Cass.
Yeah.
All right. She finishes casting it. Yeah.
I'll leave it on this, Bluey. As you cast your spell, focusing on your sword, you feel waves and waves of good coming off of your hands. You feel it from Ulster, Slia, Neff, Sarazen, Lucas. Just about feel it from Loran. And from Cass, you feel something ever so slightly different. Amongst all this good, there is a single spot of evil. Thomas, how much longer do you have?
I have a few minutes.
Okay.
I think then.
Wait. Is Bluey? Is Bluey able to tell if this spot of evil is like? Is she able to tell if it's like a distinct part that is not Cass and is just coming from her, or is it sort of as if it's like twinging the whole thing? Like, are there like two things, or is it one?
Mm-hmm.
Like which one's in control,
What
basically?
Are two pinpoints underneath her eyes, and is that what? No.
As if squashed.
Some blemishes.
As if squashed into the same space as Cass. You feel the smallest bead of good. Almost overwhelmed. It was never like that.
Wait, hang on. As
Like a hint of
like
good.
a small,
Hint.
small.
Just like a turn of phrase. Ulster, what would you like to do? As Bluey is casting the spell, you guys haven't learned anything yet.
I'm just going to message you what he's doing because I don't want anyone to have any hint of what's happening.
Can I insight check Bluey to see what Bluey's reaction is to after she's cast a spell?
Okay. Allstar's going to reach back into his bag and take out one of the potions. And he's going to hand it to Cass and he says, "Drink it then."
Why do you need me to be strong?
It's not to make you strong.
Loran says,
What is it?
I know what you did. That hug. I wasn't just trying to figure out or make amends. I'm very quick. Drink the potion. Because you've already lied to us twice. Slia?
I need Cass to make a wisdom saving throw.
I need Loran to make a what is it? Is it
You do anything to
I
Loran.
need Loran needs to make a Constitution saving throw as well.
Oh shit!
So what do I need?
Cass needs to make a wisdom saving throw.
I'm going to leave it here, okay?
No!
Okay.
Simultaneously
What
leave
do
it
I
here.
need to
Ready?
make?
A wisdom
Sorry,
save.
Aylin, I didn't. A wisdom save.
Oh shit.
That is 26.
What is happening?
Fuck. You hear Selena say in in a tone that you have like maybe never heard her say before, and she just says, "Drink the potion." As she casts command on Cass, but it doesn't
Ooh.
take.
Yeah, I think Cash just looks at Slia and just like laughs at her.
Hang on.
What the fuck?
Is there no way we could keep going for a little bit?
I know.
Yeah.
You guys can keep going, but the recording will just end here.
Aelin could record the rest, maybe.
True.
It's another
If you give me like 5 minutes, I will be right back and I can start the recording. I just.
Okay. I will tell you what happened at the
Okay.
Constitution
I'll-
save
Yeah.
when we get back from our 5-minute break.
Okay, so if you give me a 5-minute break, we can get sorted.
See you guys soon.
Thomas, thank you.
Thank you.
Sorry.
Much love. Appreciate you all. Bye.